No one expected it. For years, Heughan has built his reputation as the calm, charming, diplomatic face of Outlander. He's the actor who keeps the peace, the one fans can always count on for graciousness in interviews and playful warmth at conventions. But in early reports that spread like wildfire across fan circles, Heughan broke character, not on screen, but in real life, when he fired back at comments made by none other than Diana Gabaldon, the author of the Outlander novels herself. For longtime fans, this was nothing short of shocking. Gabaldon is not just any writer. She is the mother of the entire Outlander universe, the woman whose imagination birthed Jaime and Claire and the sweeping saga that has captivated millions. Her approval has always carried weight. And yet, her most recent remarks, delivered in interviews and echoed across social media, struck a nerve that Heughan could not ignore. The controversy began innocuously enough. Gabaldon was asked about the evolution of the series and whether the show should continue beyond the confirmed 8th season. Her answer, however, was laced with ambiguity. She suggested that Outlander had already told the story that mattered most, and that stretching it further could dilute the heart of her work. To many, it sounded like a warning that Season 9 might not be necessary, or even welcome. Fans debated her meaning, but Sam's reaction left no room for doubt. In an unusually fiery statement, he pushed back, saying that the Outlander family, cast, crew, and especially the global fanbase, deserved more than second-guessing. He argued that the story had room to grow, that there were still threads worth weaving, and most provocatively, that no single voice should dictate the future of the show once it had become a cultural phenomenon. It was the word, dictate, that caught headlines. For years, Sam has spoken of Gabaldon with reverence, always careful to credit her genius. But this time, his tone was sharper. Some fans praised him for defending the longevity of a series that means so much to them. Others accused him of disrespecting the very creator who gave him the role that made his career. The backlash was instant and polarized. On Twitter, hashtags like #TeamSam and #TeamDiana began trending within hours. One fan posted, "Sam is right. This story belongs to the fans now, not just one author." Another countered, "Without Diana, there is no Outlander. He should be thanking her, not challenging her." The ripple effects were felt across entertainment media. Trade outlets speculated on whether this tension reflected deeper cracks between the creative forces behind the show. Was Starz quietly considering a 9th season despite Gabaldon's hesitations? Was Sam positioning himself as the unofficial ambassador for Outlander's continuation? Or was this simply a moment of passion blown out of proportion by the online rumor mill? What made the situation all the more dramatic was Sam's timing. With filming on Season 8 wrapped and its release slated for 2026, the cast is technically free from ongoing production. The 8th season has already been promoted as the grand conclusion to the saga. But television history is filled with final seasons that turned out not to be final at all. The possibility of Season 9, once dismissed as fan fantasy, suddenly felt more tangible, if only because of the very public clash between its lead actor and the author herself. Observers were quick to point out that Sam has much at stake. As Outlander nears its official end, he stands at a crossroads. Projects like Macbeth in London prove his desire to break new ground, but his identity remains closely tied to Jaime Fraser. For him, Season 9 might not just be about giving fans more, it could also mean prolonging a role that still defines his career. For Gabaldon, however, the calculus is different. Her novels are still ongoing, and she has hinted that her own book 10 Inches will tie the saga together. In her view, extending the show without a clear narrative anchor risks undermining the story's legacy. It's an artistic concern, but in the world of television, artistry often collides with commerce. And that's why Sam's reaction hit so hard. It wasn't just an actor disagreeing with a writer. It was a clash of vision. One man fighting for the living, breathing momentum of a TV phenomenon, the other guarding the integrity of a literary creation. The fans, caught in the middle, were left asking the one question no one could answer. Does this controversy signal the true end of Outlander, or the messy beginning of something new? As headlines blared and fan forums lit up, one thing became clear. The storm had only just begun. And if the world thought Season 8 was the final word, Sam Heughan's outburst suggested otherwise. The fate of Season 9, it seemed, now hung not on ratings or contracts, but on whether a star and an author could find common ground, or whether their clash would decide the future of the entire Outlander universe. The storms swirling around Sam Heughan and Diana Gabaldon didn't fade after the initial headlines. If anything, the controversy deepened, with fans, media outlets, and industry insiders all weighing in on what the clash meant, not just for their relationship, but for the future of Outlander itself. At the heart of the debate was one burning question: would there even be a Season 9? For months, the official word from Starz had been that Season 8 would mark the final chapter of the beloved saga. Filming was wrapped, promotional campaigns emphasized the end of an era, and fans were bracing themselves for a bittersweet goodbye. But Heughan's fiery comments, and the heated back and forth they sparked, complicated the narrative. Some entertainment journalists speculated that the actor's outburst was strategic. By publicly defending the possibility of continuing the series, Heughan might have been signaling to the network that both he and the fans were still invested. Others wondered if he was simply speaking from the heart, unable to watch Gabaldon's comments dampen hopes for more stories. Either way, his words carried weight. He isn't just another cast member. He is Jamie Fraser, the face of the franchise. Meanwhile, Gabaldon herself remained firm. In follow-up comments, she doubled down on her belief that prolonging the show could diminish the essence of her novels. For her, Season 8 was a natural conclusion, regardless of whether her own Book 10 was finished. She reminded audiences that adaptations always walk a fine line between honoring source material and chasing commercial success. It's not about numbers, she insisted in one interview. It's about the integrity of the story. That statement drew applause from literary purists and longtime readers of the Outlander novels. But for television fans, many of whom discovered the books only after falling in love with the show, it sounded like a death knell. To them, Outlander had become more than Gabaldon's creation. It was a cultural phenomenon with its own momentum, shaped by performances, scripts, and the emotional investments of millions. Caught in the crossfire was Starz, the network that had built its brand on Outlander's success. Publicly, executives remained quiet, offering only standard lines about being proud of the series and looking forward to Season 8. Behind the scenes, however, industry gossip painted a more complicated picture. Some insiders hinted that Starz was indeed open to a 9th season, especially given the profitability of the franchise. Spin-offs like Blood of My Blood had already been greenlit, suggesting the network had no intention of letting go of the Outlander universe entirely. So, would they really walk away from their golden goose just because the author thought it should end? Or would they side with their leading man, whose passionate defense of the fans made headlines across the world? The question loomed large, and the lack of clarity only fueled speculation. As the debate raged, Sam's own career trajectory added another layer of intrigue. With Outlander Season 8 complete, he was free to pursue other projects, including his highly anticipated turn in Macbeth on the London stage. Theatre critics hailed the move as bold, proof that Heughan was eager to prove himself beyond Jamie Fraser. Yet for fans, his association with Outlander remained unshakable. Many argued that without him, a 9th season would be unthinkable. The show and the star were too intertwined. One could not exist without the other. And that, perhaps, is what made the controversy so explosive. It wasn't just about artistic vision versus commercial ambition. It was about identity. For Gabaldon, the integrity of her narrative mattered most. For Sam, the emotional connection to fans, and the belief that their voices mattered, took priority. Each perspective was valid, but together they created an impasse with no easy solution. Fan communities fractured along familiar battle lines. Facebook groups, Twitter threads, and Reddit boards lit up with debates. Some insisted that Sam was out of line, biting the hand that fed him. Others argued that Gabaldon had overstepped, forgetting that adaptations often evolve beyond the author's control. The only consensus was that the drama had breathed new life into conversations about the series. For industry observers, one thing seemed clear. Even if Season 9 never materializes, the controversy itself has extended Outlander's relevance. Media outlets continue to publish think pieces, fans continue to argue, and Sam's image as a passionate, outspoken defender of the series has only grown stronger. Whether intentional or not, his outburst has cemented his role not just as the star of Outlander, but as its most vocal champion. Looking ahead, the future remains uncertain. Season 8 is locked, and fans will have to wait until 2026 to see how the story concludes on screen. Beyond that, no contracts have been confirmed, no scripts leaked, no official announcements made. All that remains are questions, and the sense that Outlander may not be finished after all. Perhaps that is the real legacy of this controversy. By speaking out, Sam Heughan has kept hope alive. Diana Gabaldon may insist that the end is written, but television has a way of surprising even its creators. And as long as fans continue to dream of Jamie and Claire's adventures, the possibility of Season 9 will linger. Whether as a real project or as the fandom's unquenchable, what if? For now, one thing is certain. The debate has reminded everyone that Outlander is more than a show. It is a cultural touchstone, a battleground of passion and creativity, and a story whose future remains tantalizingly uncertain.